Hey guys, Ryan here. In today's video, I'm going to talk about a quick way to improve your aim almost instantly the second you hop on. The very first thing you want to do is you're going to add the center dot setting. So you're going to go to your settings, you're going to go to the interface options, and then from there you need to scroll all the way to the very bottom of the interface options section, and this is where you're going to see a setting called center dot. As I said before, you want to make sure that this setting is on. Now, this setting does two things primarily. The first is it gives you a constant center dot even when you're hip firing, but the other main thing it does, and the most important thing in my eyes, is it gets people just thinking about this center dot in general. Because this center dot is the whole key to actually learning how to center. Let's go back to this clip from the beginning of the video, and I want you to focus on my centering. I get the first person, and then I get the second person, all because of centering. The reason I knew those two were there is because of the UAV. By looking up there, I can see there's going to be two people around this corner, and this is where I line up my sights because of it. I want you to focus on how my sights are chest level and how I'm also pre-aiming before I even go around the corner. But this is also key on taking on multiple opponents. Watch as how I use the knowledge of the second kid being there to center on him after I kill the first one, and that's what sets up the two-piece. Centering is a key skill that you need to learn, and it's just simply a mental thing. This is you knowing to put your crosshair where your opponent's most likely to be, putting it center level and putting it chest or head height, and then just hitting your shots. So moving on to the third thing we're going to talk about, and that's going to be how to identify where you should be centering. I want you to pay attention to this background clip. When I aim down sight, if you notice me aiming at the wall, that's just so the laser sight doesn't go beyond the wall and I don't give away my position. But watch out, even when I'm coming around corners, I'm always just looking at where the enemy is most likely to be, and because of this, I just start getting free kills. The one thing you have to keep in mind is you need to come around corners prepared for your enemy. You need to be centering properly, and this begins even when there aren't enemies there. This is something you're doing all of the time. You're doing this in case there's enemies there. Not because you know there's enemies there, but because you think there might be enemies there. And I think this is what makes centering so hard. In the example I gave with the UAV, it was easy because of course if you see them on the UAV, well, you just know where they're at, so it's easy to center for that. But what if you don't know where your opponent's at because you don't have a UAV? Well, that takes a lot more prediction, and this is where you really need to focus on the mental side of things, and this is why you can literally just get better aim the second you hop on, because it's almost all mental. Changing that center dot, it helps a lot of course, but what helps the most is actually putting that center dot on where you think your enemies are most likely going to be. Two tips that I really think help with this is think of power positions and use audio to your advantage. Now, these tips are actually more specific for Warzone, although they do apply for multiplayer. But when you're playing, you need to constantly think of where your opponents are most likely to be, because when I watch average or quote-unquote bad players, a lot of them are looking at the ground, they aren't looking around, they aren't thinking, is there a guy in this house in front of me? Is there someone behind me? Is there someone over here? Oh wait, there's a hill over there, there's probably someone gonna be up there. You need to pre-aim, you need to start centering on these things because it's super important if you actually want to be a good player and stop dying all the time. Now, as for that second tip, to use audio to your advantage, this is made difficult because this game has terrible audio and pretty much anyone who's played it knows that. However, in those moments when you do get audio, it's important you understand how to use it to win gunfights, to center properly, and make yourself the person who has advantage in most gunfights. In close range gunfights, like you're seeing in the background, even though this is multiplayer, I hear the people pushing. This is what tells me to pre-aim and center, and that's what won me the gunfight. Now, of course, it's a little different in Warzone, but you still get audio sometimes, and when you're in close range gunfights, I can't stress how important it is. If you go back to that UAV clip and the way I played it because I had info from the UAV, that's how you need to play using audio. I centered because I had intel and info on my opponents from the UAV, and you get intel and info on your opponents that's going to help you in centering from audio as well. Of course, the biggest issue is that audio is super inconsistent and pretty terrible in Warzone 2. However, as I said, once you get it, it's going to tell you the info you need, it's going to tell you where to aim, and that's what's so important about it and a skill that a lot of people lack. Centering is the key to any good player or aimer in any game. Doesn't matter if it's Overwatch, Valorant, Call of Duty, Halo, whatever. Centering is the key to good aim, and this video is just meant to help you get better centering and become a better player who also has better aim. I'm going to start wrapping this video up though, and I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to make these videos. I hope they genuinely help you get better, and just thank you for being a part of the channel overall. It's been Ryan. I hope you have a good day. Peace.